The Jacobean era was a significant period in English history marked by the reign of King James I. Let's see the overview or the historical background of this period. The first important thing that happened during the Jacobean era was the union of the crowns. After the death of Queen Elizabeth I of England in 1603, it was his cousin James VI of Scotland who became James I of England, marking the beginning of the Jacobean era. Second important event that happened during this time was the gunpowder plot, which happened in 1605, and it was the failed assassination attempt against James I. Third was the English Civil War, or the tensions or conflicts between the monarchs and the parliamentarians. Fourth was the exploration and colonization. England established colonies in the North America and the Far East. Religious tensions were also a part of this period, since James I was a Catholic and there were many Protestants who were not happy with his reign. In the year 1625, Charles I ascends to the English throne after the death of his father James I, and he marks the beginning of the Caroline era. The reign of Charles I lasted up to 1642, when the Civil War broke out in England and Charles I was executed in 1649 and the Civil War was finally ended. From then onwards, the country came under the government rule led by Oliver Cromwell, and it began to be called as the Commonwealth of England. This continued till 1653. Later, after the death of Oliver Cromwell, England came under the rule of Oliver's son, Richard Cromwell, and he ruled England from 1653 to 1660, and people started calling him as Lord Protector. During this time, all the theatres were closed down by Cromwell, and the entertainment of any kind was forbidden and banned for everyone. It was the time that preached moral and religious values, and entertainment was considered as a sin, especially the theatre. But in 1660, Richard Cromwell was finally overthrown, and England once again came under the monarchy with the establishment of Charles II as the king. So this entire period from 1649 to 1660 was a period in English history between the executions of King Charles I in 1649 and the restoration of the monarchy under the rule of King Charles II in 1660 is called as the interregnum period. Now in year 1660, the Charles II was restored to the throne, which marked the end of the interregnum period and the re-establishment of the monarchy in England and the beginning of the restoration period, which we will discuss in the next video when we will talk about the 17th century and the restoration period. Now let us discuss the cultural developments during this period. Many cultural developments happened during this period. First was the establishment of the King's Men's Theatres Company, and then the development of the English language, growth of literacy and education, influence of Renaissance art and architecture, emergence of new scientific discoveries, etc. For example, Galileo's telescope was discovered during this time period. Now let us know about the important playwrights that were popular during the Jacobean to the Caroline era and some of their important works that we must know from the exam point of view. There are 5 notable playwrights that were writing plays during this time period. The first is William Shakespeare. Yes, William Shakespeare lived from the Elizabethan age to the Jacobean era, and since he was already writing from the time of Queen Elizabeth I, but he outlived the Queen, so we count him among the important playwrights of the Jacobean division as well. There are many plays which belong to this small division after the Elizabethan age. Majorly all his plays written by Shakespeare after the year 1603 belong technically to the Jacobean era. Shakespeare majorly wrote his most famous tragedies during this period, including all his problem plays and his tragicomedies. The other notable poets from the Jacobean phase of the Elizabethan era were Ben Jonson. Ben Jonson was an important poet and playwright from the Elizabethan age. He wrote satirical plays majorly and popularized the form called the comedy of humors. Some of the important plays written by Jonson are Volpone the Fox, which was written in 1605. It is a satirical comedy exposing greed and deception, and it is written in the animal fable style. The characters are animals in this play. The Alchemist is second comedy play which is written in 1610, and it ridicules the alchemy and its practitioners. Bartholomew Fair, written in 1614, is a comedy comedy by Jonson exploring London's social classes. Epicene or The Silent Woman, written in 1609, is again a comedy of manners satirizing gender roles as depicted by Jonson. The Devil is an Ass, written in 1616, is a comedy critiquing social corruption in England. Every Man in His Humor was written in 1598, Every Man Out of His Humor 1599. Both are examples of the dramatic comedy genre called comedy of humors, which was popularized by Jonson and Chapman. Another play was Eastward Ho, written in 1605, which was co-authored with Chapman and Marston. Then there are a few notable poems by Johnson's, which are To Celia, which is also known as Drink to Me Only with Thine Eyes. Then there is a poem called On My First Son. Then another poem inviting a friend to supper. And lastly, there's a poem, A Hymn to Diana, also written by Ben Jonson. So this was Ben Jonson for us. Now let us discuss Thomas Middleton, who was an English playwright and a poet, and he became a prominent playwright in London in the year 1600s and collaborated with William Shakespeare and other playwrights. His famous plays are A Game at Chess, written in 1624. Then there is a play called The Revenger's Tragedy, written in 1607. And then another famous play called The Changeling, written in 1622, and it was co-authored with William Rowley. Woman Beware Woman was written in 1621, which is again a play, and then Roaring Girl, written in 1611, which was a play co-written with Thomas Dekker. Moving forward, let's discuss another playwright called John Webster, who was an English playwright and a very famous poet. His major plays include The White Devil, a tragedy written in 1612. Then we have Duchess of Malfi, written in 1612, which is again a tragedy. Then Westward Ho, written in 1604 in collaboration with Thomas Dekker. Northward Ho, written in 1607 in collaboration again with Thomas Dekker. So he collaborated a lot with Thomas Dekker, and they both together contributed many plays. His contribution to the development of Jacobean drama is remarkable. He shaped the genre of revenge tragedy. Webster's plays were famous for their intense violence, depiction of violence on the stage, and it is based on the Roman playwright Seneca's revenge tragedy. So he was inspired from a Roman playwright Seneca in writing his bloodiest revenge tragedies. Next playwright here is Philip Messenger, who was an English playwright and a poet. His important works include plays like The Maid of Honor, written in 1621, and The City Madam, written in 1632. So these were some of the important playwrights besides Shakespeare who were important during the Jacobean time period. Now let us discuss some of the notable poets during the Jacobean era.